Hey guys, welcome back to another video. I know it's kind of been a while since I uploaded. I took a little bit of a break, just kind of wasn't really enjoying the season as much. But now I'm back, trying to get the rest of the high keys done, and hopefully when I get those, I'll upload them. Um, and yeah, today will just be kind of like a quick guide. I don't really want to go like fully in depth about like all of the details about, how to play Rogue. Those rules won't change from my previous videos, but this will just kind of be like what I've learned from this season and, just some tips to hopefully help you guys with the rest of your keys if you want to play Outlaw Rogue this season. First, in the description there will be my Discord link, and that will have my weak auras that I've updated now. Before, one of you fucking little shits deleted my channel to my weak auras and my Outlaw Rogue questions channel, so I fixed it to where people can't delete stuff now or have permission. So that's good, but there will be under the Weak Aura section, it's called Outlaw Rogue Starter Kit is the name of the channel. It will have this Weak Aura right here that has, like my tracking, my vanish, the pod, all this stuff, my roll the bones. It'll have the little stealthened Weak Aura, the little cross, and then the like when you roll, what it tells you. So yeah, that'll be in the description as well. And yeah, just feel free to kind of go in there. And if I'm missing anything, just let me know if there's something that you guys really want to have in there. I can just add it really quick. And it's in the form that it's in. You just kind of copy and paste it directly into your WeakAuras channel. So it'll be like this. It'll be in a WeakAuras form, so you can just copy and paste it right into here. All right. So first, I just want to talk about gear. All Outlaw Rogues will have like a little bit different variations of gear, and I think like some of the little things don't matter as much. But here is my gear for the season for Mythic Plus. This is kind of like the final version of it. I don't have the. I still need a Myth Track one arm bandit ring, so hopefully on one of our reclears I'll get it or in my vault. But until I get that, I will just be using two crafted rings. Um, I have 19% haste. As long as you have around like 18 to 20% haste for keep it rolling, it should be fine. But I think you should really have around 19 to 20% is perfectly fine. Um, and you want as much verse as you can get, which is why I'm using a verse flask. Um, and yeah, a lot of people have been asking me why I've been running House of Cards. I think House of Cards just does a lot. It sims really well for AoE, and having a minute and 30 cooldown trinket is very nice with something that sims very well for AoE. And it's very useful, I feel like, at the start of a dungeon. And then I also use Mega Magnet, which is a great single target trinket. It builds up stacks very quickly, and it only has a 20-second cooldown. So like on some dungeons, you can like use a 15 stack. It goes up to 30 stacks, but you can build up like a 15 stack of the trinket and use it if you need to. This is really helpful for dungeons like Theater of Pain or Dark Flame Cleft, where like the carts need to die, and it's like if I'm a little low, I can just send like a 15 stack into the cart, or on Zav on Theater of Pain, when I get sent down, I can just use the trinket on my teammate, and then it'll kill them very quickly, and I can get sent back up almost every time right away. Um, and yeah, so this is pretty much the gear. I would say like yeah, the last thing I need is the ring. Um, I've seen a lot of people with the like greater head enchants. People have been using either Greater Gushing Wound or Twilight Devastation. It's a lot of personal preference. I used both now, and I feel like I like Greater Gushing Wound for just more consistent single target. I just feel like the Twilight Devastation just doesn't proc when I would like it to. It just feels I just hate to add more proc based things to the spec. Um, I feel like I've almost never seen it proc on a first pull for me. It always procs at the end when there's like one mob left. So I just like having more single targets. So I think I've been liking Greater Gushing Wound a little bit more. It doesn't do AOE, but just having more single target I think is pretty nice considering some of these bosses take a while on a lot of the higher keys. And yeah, with the Gnar, I'd recommend now that you should have around two. Getting the Molten Knuckles is probably the most important thing. Obviously, if you get them on Myth Track, it's great. Molten Knuckles, and I would say pretty much these two trinkets for Mythic Plus would be really good. I like the combo a lot now that I've been kind of using it and testing it out. Um, So yeah, just to kind of start off with keep it rolling again. I know I've mentioned this in my previous videos, but it'll all be the same. So for keep it rolling, you always want to re-roll on two buffs this season. You know, you really want to just keep re-rolling on two, regardless of what the two combination is, to try and fish for five. Um, if you end up getting three buffs from accounts the odd proc, I usually try and wait and re-roll. So like right now I'm on three, and I would usually not re-roll right away because I see I got four. So then I would keep it rolling, and then I could re-roll again and maybe get more. So my rule is on two, regardless of the combination. Regardless of the combination of buffs, I will always re-roll. And then on three, if I get a counts the odd proc, I will always wait and see if I can get a fourth, and then keep it rolling then. But there is some like it just kind of like depends on like your knowledge of the spec and in certain situations. If I have three buffs, like if I have like broadside, true bearing, and like ruthless precision, which are like your three best buffs, I will usually always keep it rolling on those just because they're your strongest, and in single target they're just really good. Um, or at like the start of a dungeon, if I'm like feel like I'm starving, I'll sometimes just keep it rolling on three buffs and then re-roll and trying to get like four or five with the extension. I think that's just like really important to just kind of like know what buff combinations are good. These three will always be your strongest: broadside, ruthless precision, and true bearing. Just because you get CDR, you get bonus combo point, and you're between the eyes, get more crit, right? Um, and yeah, just always again, always waiting until your buffs are about to end at like 1 second before you keep it rolling, just in case you get an extra one. Is always, that's how you should be playing every time because you don't want to keep it rolling and then all of a sudden you get um, another buff, and then you missed out on like a free 30 seconds of buff that could really help you out in the future. Um, and yeah, as long as you kind of keep that in mind, I think it'll increase your adrenaline rush uptime by a lot. I mean, when I was first learning, that was kind of like my biggest problem was kind of like managing my buffs. And if you're always kind of playing around that, you're gonna notice that you're gonna have more buffs, a lot more, and the more buffs you have, the more adrenaline rush uptime, which leads to more damage, and which is very good. Um, Killing Spree. I've been playing with it for the whole season now, and Killing Spree obviously is like the worst ability ever. However, it's important to know that Killing Spree, you really need to be sending it right away. I hate, like, my biggest issue right now is when I'm in AoE or if I'm in a single target and I have to hold Killing Spree, it feels really bad. In AoE, you always want to try and send a full combo point Killing Spree to spread phase to as many targets as possible because that makes them take more damage, and then using a vanish window right after. Um, and kind of like the priority usually, if I have Killing Spree and a charge of Coop de Gras up, which is our capstone, I try to Killing Spree then Coop, and then go into a vanish window. But a lot of the times people are like, man, I used a full combo point Killing Spree and I died. Because a lot of people don't know that if you use an empowered combo point Killing Spree, it actually makes it last even longer. So it won't like, a Killing Spree will last on 7 combo points 2.35 seconds. But if you use an empowered combo point, it will last even longer, which you want to try and not do, especially in single target. I've gotten killed a couple times like that. But if you basically are in like single target and you want to use like a 1 combo point Killing Spree, you should do it because you want to try and keep phased up on the target, and just using that Killing Spree, I think, to keep phased and then kind of getting it on cooldown so you can use it again is pretty important, not only for your damage, but for just, like I said, maintaining phased. And when you use Killing Spree, your next two strikes of Unseen Blade will ignore its cooldown, and we know that um, you know, when Unseen Blade ignores its cooldown, it's obviously good, but just applying that phase is just extremely important. And when a target is, Unseen Blade dealing, obviously you're like when a phased target is struck, they're phased for 10 seconds. So it just Unseen Blade allows you to make a target phased. So Killing Spree will just help with this a lot. and it'll just extend it more. So never be afraid. More or less in single target, you should only really be using this as a 1 combo point or a 2 combo point killing spree. I would say the next thing that I want to talk about is kind of dungeon, like the start of dungeons. Outlaw Rogue is notoriously weak at the start of dungeons. Um, a couple dungeons like that I really feel it on would be Cinderbrew, would be Floodgate, especially sometimes Priory, depending on the first pull. But these two are like just the worst for us. So at the start of a dungeon, if you roll bad like this, I want to try and get back to my roll the bones as quickly as possible. And I think what a lot of people like don't really realize is, we have perma tricks. So start hitting the mobs as early as possible so that you can try and get back to roll the bones as quickly as you can. So that way, like even on like the gather, you're already able to maybe get back to another, roll the bones and roll better buffs or extend, or you just want to try and hit the mobs as early as possible. So what I do, especially in these two dungeons, while my tank is pulling this hired muscle, we on 19 we're only doing 2, but while my tank is pulling this, I'm already pulling this for him and hitting this and trying to get more get better buffs, right? So while he's gathering this, I'm already hitting this. Or in what I do, especially in like workshop and this huge first pull, while my tank is gathering this, I'm already like I'll even grappling hook across and I'll start hitting this. Especially in Dark Flame, when we gather and go through this hallway, a lot of people would have to wait, but you can just start destroying the Overseer. Like immediately try and start getting better buffs like right away. Um, yeah, and Priory, if Sully is over here and we're gathering these first, I'm already grappling hooking here and hitting these mobs before Sully comes in to try and get better buffs, right? You always want to try, if you rolled a 2 or 1 buff, like this is like your worst outcome, right? You roll a 1 buff and you roll Buried Treasure, like this is horrible. You are doing 0 damage in a pull like this, so you need to make sure that you are in the pack immediately trying to get back to roll the bones as quickly as possible. Like this, I was there super quick, so you can use Killing Spree. Even worse, another, not horrible that it's Ruthless Precision, but you want to really try and get back as quickly as possible. And here's a good example. I'm on 3 buffs at the start. Maybe I would keep it rolling there if I feel like I need to do damage. Roll the bones immediately again, and try and do some damage. Yeah, always just start hitting the mobs as early as you can, especially if you roll bad. And yeah, that's probably like the biggest thing at the start of a dungeons that Outlaw is notoriously weak for, and why we're usually not taken, honestly, is because those big first lust pulls are really bad for us, like, and why we're not taken a lot. So you really need to try and really fish for those 5 buffs and re-roll as much as you can, especially on 2. And that's pretty much like the pre-pull, kind of like, not pre-pull ritual, but the starting ritual for every dungeon is hit the mobs as early as possible and just keep re-rolling until you get something good. And that's why I obviously run House of Cards, is because this your magnet will never have stacks at the start of a dungeon, so having the ability to use House of Cards right away off the start is really nice, because it allows you to, have a damage trinket right away, and then as you build up stacks, you can then use your magnet, later on, which is really nice. I think these two have a good synergy with each other, and it's pretty nice. And one thing I also forgot to mention at the start of the video in terms of gearing, and a lot of people have been asking me, like, why are you like switching weapons? So Outlaw right now has an AoE weapon that we use. Even though it's only 658, it is very good because we can abuse its like special ability, which is your first melee strike against an enemy slams the ground and deals like a shadow magic damage, which is like this purple, stuff, like this purple like effect that you can see whenever you're watching. And it's because you can switch weapons in a dungeon at any time, even if you're in combat, and there's a macro for that. So let me pull up the macro. So it's this. So you can use this and swap at any time. So if you see me clicking over here, I just swapped my weapon. It's now this. So whenever I'm in AoE, I'll use this, because at the start of every pull, see, it does matter. It does that shadow quake, right? and then when I invis again, bang, it does it again. So every vanish window, you just get like this uncapped, you know, AoE kind of ability, and we can just abuse it like a lot. And it'll do, I mean, it just does so much damage, which is really good. However, it does not work in single target, so that's why we have to switch out. So like just before a boss, you know, they let you get your re-stealth, you swap it out, and you're back to single target. So definitely, it's a real. I mean, this weapon is so easy to get. I think you just have to go to where is it? Hallowfall, and just go to like this little Nightfall event. It'll take like one of the vendors sells it, or it's like a quest or something to get like a coin. Takes literally, I pulled up right as the event ended. The event might take like 10, 15 minutes, but I pulled up right as the event ended, got it right away. So super easy to get, and I think you definitely want to use it if you want to start pushing higher keys. And constantly switching those two weapons will make not only your AoE stronger, but you know, um, when you switch back, your single target's just the same, just as good as it was before. Um, and yeah, just a quick breakdown. Everyone probably knows the talents, but here's pretty much the only thing you'll ever run in Mythic Plus. Um, this Shiv is pretty interchangeable. I pretty much just use Shiv based. I don't know. I'm too lazy to change it, but if you want to drop Shiv, you can do Shadow Heart, which is good. Um, Sometimes you'll want like improved wound poison for Cinder Brew with the mobs that will cast like a heal on themselves. But for the most part, just run Shiv or Shadowheart. And yeah, I mean that's pretty much it from this season. Those are like the main tips that I can give you. If you ever want like to watch like a more in-depth, kind of guide, I'll probably consider doing a commentary over one of my next videos. I think that'd probably be good. So the next key I time, or like the next kind of big key that I time that I feel like is a good example, I will probably do a commentary over it and just kind of show you guys like kind of what I'm thinking in the situation. And then, yeah, I'm also going to start streaming a little bit more, hopefully, some of the keys that we're doing. And then, yeah, if you ever have any questions, you can drop them back in the Discord, which will be in the description, like I said. So, yeah, thank you guys for all your comments as usual. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one.